This is Heifer International and their moat. They handle all their own water here, produce it, collect it, produce it, clean it, pump it, share it. And Clinton Library is next door. That's not it, but this is a big complex. Heifer Village. Oh, this is the tower here, honey.
Oh, that is?
Yes. This is their water tower. Everything is growing out here in some way, shares the land. Like I said, we're going to find out how it all works. Oh, that's Clinton over there. Or is it? Yeah, that's Clinton. Yeah. It's Clinton Library right there.
Straight down that road was a really cool restaurant.
And right down there's a really cool restaurant that we're going to go to. This is where we came in at. Kay Stewart signed in. She's going to go get someone to give us a green tour of the headquarter building next door here. Right now we're walking through checking out the village. This is very interesting right here. This is a wheel that you fill full of water and they don't have to carry the water. And then you can do a pump. Alrighty.
Welcome to the green building, to the headquarters building.
Thanks.
This is a LEED Platinum building, our headquarters. Are y'all familiar with the LEED certification system? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, and it is a ranking system for buildings. And the more environmentally friendly, you know, they're higher, their LEED rating.
Gotcha.
Top of the line is LEED Platinum. And that's what this building is. So it's about as good as you can get for the environment.
Okay.
And, you know, there's a whole bunch of different criteria that, you know, fall into place to help put a building into that category. And so this tour will talk about some of the things that are featured in this building, you know, that help us achieve that rating. Being that this is the worldwide headquarters of Heifer International, you know, when they constructed this, they really wanted to make sure that we were reflecting our mission, not only of ending hunger and poverty, but also caring for the earth. So that is the big reason for why they wanted to build in such a sustainable and environmentally friendly way.
Gotcha.
The ways that they put that into the building are through their choice of materials, through the way that we use electricity and light in the building, and through the way that we use our water. There's also a couple of other things that they did, like a huge site-wide cleanup because this was a very polluted area when it came time for construction. And so we'll get into that a little bit later, but that's another big reason that helped us to get that LEED certification. So I like to start with materials.
Please.
Because
okay.
you can see most of them from where you're standing.
All
right. When we talk about local materials for this building, it's usually within a 500-mile radius of Little Rock. So that ties, back into what you have to fall into for the LEED certification. But they used local materials, they used renewable and recyclable materials. And as far as the local stuff, you're standing on some of it right now. The floor is limestone from Batesville, Arkansas, and that paving goes all the way out, whole walkway inside.
Oh my, okay, yes it does, wow.
It weathers differently, but I think it's pretty beautiful both in and out. Above your heads is another local material. We've got pine from the Arkansas Delta. So, the southeast region of the state. We have pine for some of the ceiling accents and the wood in the building. Over by the elevators, we have bluestone from Paris, Arkansas. And so that's another one of the local materials that's in here. If you had X-ray vision, and you could look inside of our walls.
And I do.
Well, there you go. Very talented you are. Very fortunate. If you had X-ray vision and you could see in our walls, instead of seeing that pink fiberglass insulation, you would see insulation that is actually made from Arkansas crop byproducts. So there's cotton and soybean byproducts that are used in the insulation of our building. So natural, local, taking some of the waste product and reusing it into our insulation. And also the steel, you can see there's a lot of steel in the building, steel frame building, and it's about 89% recycled and was processed.
Oh my.
So pretty good, pretty good.
Oh my.
The last local material that I'll highlight for y'all, we can actually walk over here because there's just a couple of us. But if you look out of our windows, you can see the company that provided all of our windows, Ace Glass. Right across
Oh, okay.
And you don't get a whole lot more local than that.
No, you do
So,
that's pretty cool.
Good neighbors to have, and they did the windows and the window frames for the building.
Nice.
And we're really fortunate to have the windows.
Boy, how cool is that? Just run across the street when you have a problem, or exactly. Wow.
Perfect. And the windows, we'll talk about it some more later, but that lets us get so much sunlight in the building and really cuts down on the amount of electricity we have to use. So it's a pretty good setup. Recycled materials, I told you all about the steel, but I should also tell you about our bathroom counters, are pretty nifty. They are broken down glass bottles that have been, melted and pressed and reformed into our bathroom counters. And then our carpet is another recycled material. It is partially recycled, and it's a tile carpet. We'll see some more of it upstairs. But it's a tile carpet that we can just replace a piece of it at a time. So we don't have to, go through redoing an entire room full of carpet if something wears out or gets all, stain or a rip in it. We just send back the damaged pieces. The factory will recycle them into more carpet, and they'll send us the new bits that we need. So that's pretty good. The last material that I will point out is one that's not local and it's not recycled, but it is renewable. And that's the bamboo floor that I'm standing on.
Yeah.
So it's coming from a long distance away, it is from Asia, but it is so renewable. It will replenish itself. Bamboo will grow in about 5 to 7 years to the size that you need to, take care of flooring for this,
oh my.
Size. So the bamboo that was cut down for the construction of this building, theoretically, they let it grow.
Oh yeah,
back,
I noticed the
replanted.
textures there. Very okay.
It's beautiful. I think it's just as pretty as hardwood.
It's unique. It's unique as can be. My gosh.
Right, and if you think about how long it would take a hardwood tree to grow to maturity so that you could harvest it.
100 years,
for
what?
Flooring.
Yeah.
Easily one of our lifetimes. So the bamboo, just that quick turnover, it makes it very worthwhile. So it's pretty cool. The last thing to point out while we're here is this raised flooring. It doesn't fit neatly into one of my little categories, but it is a pretty good construction technique that helps us out in the building. You can see this cutaway is going to show you that our flooring is raised, and that lets us heat and cool from the ground up. So it's a little bit more efficient than forcing the air down from the high ceilings, right? we don't want to lose the high ceilings. Sometimes people ask, well, why don't you just lower the ceilings? And no, because then we lose all the sunlight from our windows.
I hear you.
right?
I
So
hear you. Okay.
We can heat and cool just to about where we are. It works great. And then our heating and cooling system, we'll come back to it again when we talk about the water we recycle, but it does run with the recycled rainwater through our heating and cooling system.
My.
So,
Nice.
that's the rundown for the materials and all the good stuff down here. Do y'all have any
You can
questions?
come
Step back
inside.
in.
That's
Okay.
right.
You just let me know. This is really stable, really comfortable, and we've had up to like 30 school kids out here. So the three of us, we're not
You
gonna be.
you go where you
You
wanna
stay right
go.
where you're at,
I'll
honey.
Stay right here.
Okay.
Okay.
This way you don't miss the benefit.
All right. I like to come out here to talk about the site cleanup because it is such a pretty view, and to talk a little bit about the water that we use on the site. So the cleanup, really quickly, is this used to be a brownfield. If y'all are familiar with the term, it means, you know, that the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, says this is so polluted and the chemicals are so toxic, we don't want you to live here, work here, play here. It's not fit for people to come hang out.
And what caused that condition?
This used to be a very heavily industrial area of town. You can look, you can see
I was
the
gonna
rivers
say,
just
yes,
right over
yeah,
there.
yeah.
You can see old train trestle bridges
Yep.
just over there with the Clinton School right behind them and the Clinton Library there. There's train tracks back behind our building by Ace Glass. You know, this was shipping, freight, trains, trucks, all that kind of stuff, and just the, you know, the waste from that kind of industry really polluted the land. Heifer found out that it was a brownfield when they were looking to purchase the land in the early 2000s, and you know, instead of walking away, they said, well, we wanted to build sustainably, we want to take care of the earth, we're going to try and clean
Almost
it up.
a perfect choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
for them.
In a lot
Okay,
of ways,
yeah.
it really was a good thing. And so they bought the land, they took down the old buildings. What they could save of the old buildings, they used some of the masonry because they knew that in just a little while they were going to have this massive hole in the ground. Because they carted off about, let me get the number right, 4,500 dump truck loads of contaminated dirt.
My.
So where
Big
did
hole
that
in the
And
ground.
where did it
went
go?
to a landfill nearby where
Okay.
it went into an EPA, again,
Cleanup
environment-
site,
cleanup
whatever.
site,
Gotcha,
so
my.
cleaning program. So
Oh,
hopefully
my.
that dirt will eventually be able to go back in
Okay,
circulation. I don't know how many
okay.
years it
I
has
hear
to
ya.
sit.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it is being treated. And so they took the old masonry from the old buildings, the concrete and stuff that, you know, was just ground up from them. They used it for foundation for these buildings that were going to be here. Brought in fresh dirt. Some of the prettier masonry that they were able to save from the old buildings, some of the old bricks, you'll see pink
the
bricks
the
there.
Dixon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see the light pink bricks are recycled from those original buildings. They brought in the clean dirt, built the headquarters. A few years later, Heifer Village followed, and they, you know, the natural environment that would have been here a long time ago. This would have been wetlands, bottomland forest. We don't have so much forest, but you can definitely get the wetland feel.
Yeah.
They put all of the water features around the buildings and the retention ponds in. One, it helps us conserve rainwater and use it elsewhere on the site, but it also helps us make an environment that's pleasant for people and for animals and give back that wetland feel. So around this building, a lot of people call it the moat, but we just call it our wetland.
That's what I've been calling it, the moat, but you call it wetlands,
Looks like
okay?
it, yeah, but they stocked it with 4 different types of Arkansas native fish. So there's bass and brim and bluegill and catfish in there, a couple gar. And
But I'm guessing you don't fish it though.
don't fish in there, yeah.
The
Nobody
purpose
fishes
would
in
be,
there.
I'm guessing, you're also getting byproducts off of those fish.
yeah, I mean,
And, and oxygen into the water.
right. So it's a good spot for the fish. We've got turtles. We've got, you know, different birds come and stop by, hang out with the fish and the turtles and the insects and things like that. There are some areas that you'll see bubbles coming up, aeration
I did.
helping in the water. It helps with aeration. It also helps keep the water moving enough that mosquitoes don't lay eggs, so that's good. We don't have anything stagnant. That's nice. And then the plants that you see out here are primarily Arkansas native plants, so they naturally grow in the state. And that really helps because you don't have to fertilize as much, you don't have to protect them from climate as much. They're just already adapted to being out here, so it's less chemicals, less labor, things like that to take care of them.
Okay.
All right. So,
Nice.
all right.
Well, I was going to say, oh, go ahead.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry.
ask your question, sure.
No, well, you're going to get to it, so you're not done yet. I thought maybe you were done there for a moment, so
I'm
go ahead.
done talking about the landscape. So
Okay, I was curious about the water tower and the treatment of the water,
All right,
how
we're
it's
going
collected.
there.
I
Yeah,
knew it.
You got
Okay.
It, you got it.
All right.
So, take a look at the building. Okay.
Okay.
Take a look. If you want to peek around the corner, you can see the water tower, or we can look at
Okay,
it
I
from
saw
inside.
that when we were coming
And
in.
then take a quick look and see our solar panels over there.
Oh, I didn't
all
see
right?
those. Okay.
So
Oh.
you've seen 1, 2, 3, and now we'll duck in and let you relax a little bit. We'll be behind the doors, and I'll talk about the rest of this stuff. All right. So if you didn't really get to see the water tower very well, come in here just for a
Oh my
second and
goodness.
get a feel for the scale of it. So this is
Oh,
all up and down our
ma-
entire
oh,
stairwell.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, that's big.
Jeez Louise.
When we have school kids come into the building and they walk all the flights of stairs because, you know, there's too many for the elevator, they really appreciate how big that thing
Oh
is.
my
Oh,
gosh.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It's about 25,000 gallons of water can fit
Wow.
in there. And it's all rainwater that we collect from this rooftop. This roof is very similar to the roof of Heifer Village over there. They both are slanted and they are
I
both
see.
lined with a swimming pool liner type material.
Okay.
So that's going to
Okay.
protect the roof, and it's also going to help slick the water where we
Sure.
want it to go.
Gotcha.
So for the village, it's going to come down, channel down through some gutters into some rocks that help filter any debris, and then it'll come into the wetlands around this building. For this
Cool.
building, it's all going to be channeled into the big water tower that you just saw. And we get to use that water for heating, cooling, flushing toilets, landscape, watering the lawn and things like that when it gets hot and dry in the
Okay.
summer. Overflow we can save in retention ponds and things like
Wow.
that, and it also helps, you know, keep our wetlands full too.
Are you
for our
cleaning
fish
then?
and
Are you doing
everything.
your own drinking water also?
No, we're not. It's
Okay.
not for drinking. It's not
I understand
for,
that, but I thought
hand
maybe you might have been
washing.
doing something with it, chlorinating it, cleaning
Right,
it, you know,
yeah,
whatever.
No, we're not
Okay.
doing that. This is all rainwater, and you know, we only use it in places where it's safe to use gray water on the site. But it
I
still
understand.
makes a really big difference.
That would be the bulk of your water, I'm going to
Right.
guess, is
Yeah.
going to be gray water use.
Right.
Wow.
Well, and it really is nice to be able to, you know, take care of the landscape in the summer. You know, and not be drawing on clean, purified city water for things like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you know what your average rainfall is here in Arkansas?
I do not.
Okay,
I
okay,
do not.
that's all right.
We looked at that
It's-
the other day. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So I thought I heard it, but I
did.
wasn't curious. I thought it was
Yeah,
more
it
than
is.
what
Where
I'd heard.
we live.
I'd heard
Yeah.
50 inches, but then I had somebody said on news or something that it was 30 some inches.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
don't know.
you know, I'm originally from Louisiana, and it
Okay.
doesn't rain quite as much here as it
It
did
does
there,
there.
but it's
oh
pretty
yeah,
close.
okay.
It's pretty
Oh,
close,
is it?
you
Okay,
know.
all right.
So, really similar climate. But anyway, I think that pretty much covers it for water.
Okay.
We do use about, let me think. It's a certain percentage here. I'm gonna cheat.
Yeah, do
You're,
please.
You're recording there. I don't want to give you the wrong number.
No,
It's a
this-
65% reduction in the amount of water that we use.
Oh my!
What we
In
do.
total, I
Yeah,
understand.
in total. So if you compared us to a similar site,
I understand.
it's about 65%
Less than what they're
than what they
using.
would
I
use.
hear ya.
That's what we
Man.
do. So it's a pretty big
Crazy.
pretty big deal. Let's go ahead and we'll talk one more spot about water. A little bit about the purification that you were talking about, but not for drinking water. Alright, so up here you can see our parking lot, and you can see that it's got some permeable surfaces going on.
I see.
Where the cars are parked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We have these gravel beds where the cars park, and the concrete is also slightly slanted so that when it rains, the majority of the water is going to run into the beds where the cars are. And that gravel lets us filter all the pollution from under the cars. Between the
wow.
gravel and the
Oh,
grassy
my.
bioswales in between the cars, we call them
Yeah.
our bioswales, between the gravel and the plants and their roots that will filter the water that's picking up the pollution from under the cars, and they'll clean it enough so that eventually it will be able to come into the wetlands around the building.
Wow.
Gravel. The gravel, but the really big one is the plants. Because the gravel
Okay.
by itself isn't going to do enough. It'll help, and it takes out
I understand.
the first level, basically. But the plants are what really cleans it. They're a little scrappy right now because it's the middle of winter. And they also did a controlled burn this past fall to help take out some invasive weeds and things that
Yeah.
didn't need to be there that were trying to take over.
So they burned off the weeds in the gravel. Is that what you're saying, or
No,
did I not?
the central areas, the bioswales, the
Yes,
green areas.
yes.
Those had kind of been taken over by like some weeds and some
Okay.
plants that weren't doing a whole lot with the
Okay.
filtering, and they were choking out a lot of our good
I
plants that
understand.
we wanted there. So they
Okay.
did a controlled burn of those, and you know, replanted basically with what they wanted
Okay.
to be there.
Okay.
Because you know we do have a lot of birds and you know wind will blow
Sure,
in
sure. Seeds, of
and
course, of
everything.
course, yeah.
If you ever come back in spring though, like they just
I've
grow
been here.
beautiful
I've been here that
wildflowers
time of
and-
year.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I mean, you know how lush it can
Yes,
be.
it is
And
lush.
the plants really do a great job.
Gardens
of
are awesome.
Cleaning up that water, and I mean they do check the water quality in the wetlands on a regular basis, so we know that those plants are
Doing their job,
exactly what
okay.
they're supposed to.
my,
And that's, you know, it's great because, you know, in a traditional asphalt parking lot, it would just all run off into the storm drains, and then the city's gonna have to treat that and clean it. And
not to
figure it out.
mention the content of the asphalt itself. Anyway, I've worked with that stuff before, so
It's not
on a
very
road
nice.
cruise. My, impressive. For light.
With the light.
Yeah.
Natural light will come into a building about 30 feet from each side, and our building, if you chop off the stairwell areas, is about 60 feet wide.
Oh
So
my.
I think it's actually like 62 or 63, something like that. But you can get natural light coming into the building pretty much all the way into the center because they make it so narrow. The curve of the building also plays into that with, you know, the arc of the sun and the sky and things like that. And then the windows, of course, are going to be what's letting all of that light in. Now, we do have rain, like we were talking about earlier. We do have
Lots. I
days
love the
where it
rains.
gets dark, so we do have electric lights in the building, of course, but they are lights that are motion controlled and they're light sensitive. So they will adjust to how bright it is already in the building. They'll dim themselves if it's a really bright day, they'll get a little brighter if it's a really dim day.
They look like they're LEDs too.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are
Okay.
a lot of LED fixtures in here. So those two, they look like smoke detectors, but they're actually our light and motion sensors that help control the lights in
Okay.
this particular area up over the elevators there. And the motion sensors, you know, those just mean that, you know, if we're not walking around in here for a while,
Then they
shut
shut off.
walk back in,
Absolutely.
come on.
Wow.
Yeah, so that definitely helps with the electricity.
Makes too much sense. You know, like, why isn't everybody doing this?
Yeah, I know.
Eventually everybody will.
Eventually
Slow
everyone
shift.
will.
Slow
Absolutely,
shift.
honey.
It's a lot of money to do.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
It's not a free.
No, it's not cheap. You know, one of the things that they did with this building, they had a separate capital campaign to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people ask, did the money that I gave for a go to build your headquarters? Because I'm not happy about that. I say, no. You know, the money
understand.
that you gave
Uh-huh.
to build the headquarters was
Uh-huh.
build the headquarters.
Built the
The money
headquarters.
that you gave to give the goat. Gave
Went to the goat.
You know?
Okay.
So that was kept separate, but this was a big capital campaign, but this building is paying for itself, and it's actually ahead of schedule in paying for itself in the energy and water, you know.
How could it
conservation
not,
efforts.
actually? Okay,
Yeah,
if you're
it
doing
does.
65% less water handling here,
Yeah. Then, yeah, it adds up very quickly, so.
Now, the solar panels,
Mhm.
is that for
It's-
heating and cooling or for?
You're on the right track. We actually had our LEED Platinum certification before the solar panels came in. But we put those in a few years later when cost benefit was a little bit more in our favor.
They're pricey.
Yeah,
too.
they are, but you know, the technology keeps getting better and
Yeah.
better with those, and as that happens, the price
in the
drops.
past 3 years, solar panel costs have dropped 50%.
Now I might actually.
Yeah.
look at it, 'cause before I.
Okay, and it's geometric. So that's what's been happening.
Yeah.
And what is that power being used for, your
There's,
solar?
okay, so there's 100 panels out there. They keep batteries charged. It'll kick on backup generators.
So you're
and things
storing
like
your
that
energy.
if we lose power.
Okay.
It also, when we're not needing it, it'll feed back to the energy company.
Yeah, so it just goes back
So
into the
we'll
grid
get
then.
the green credits for
Gotcha.
that. If you measured it, it's about a quarter of the power that you would need to cool both buildings at peak.
Oh, that's pretty
So,
cool.
yeah, it's a pretty good chunk. I mean, it's certainly not, everything.
Well,
that
if your
we use
electric
here,
bill would
but
be thousands of dollars or
Right,
whatever,
right.
and you're
So,
saving
again,
25%.
it adds up.
That's
Hello.
But I mean, that's just for the cooling costs. That's not for the lighting and
Well,
everything
this is
else, but
Arkansas.
that's- Yeah, so summer's hot. You got it. You got
I
it.
used to live here, so
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be
So
burdensome.
That's what our panels are doing.
Okay.
for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You don't have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
No,
All right.
this was
Cool.
very nice.
Nice. Before we head back downstairs, I'll just point out we do have these really cool banners that hang.
I was gonna ask.
These
These
are from project partners and offices around the world, and they help remind us, of everybody that we're serving. Beautiful artwork. But they also help to muffle some of the echoes in the building. We've
Okay.
got a lot of hard surfaces. It's a very open building. No carpet, right? So
Yeah.
that helps.
I
muffle some of the
hadn't
noise
noticed
the way
really
that-
how
the way
quiet
that
it is in here,
Well,
that our
it's-
voices are not carrying.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
It's a nice visual too for
Mhm, it
anybody
is.
that
Uh-huh.
doesn't want to look down. It kind of breaks the
Right. This is true. Well, I mean, and they're from South America, they're from Africa, they're from, there's one from Canada on the second floor, from Asia, all over the place.
That's really
lots of
great.
different places we have projects going on. So they're pretty cool for
Beautiful.
that.
Man,
Okay.
There's a lot of most of the artwork around here is very international, right? Yeah. Nearly all of it's been done by our students, regular
That's nice.
It's pretty cool.
okay. You did us well, okay?
Oh, and for the electricity, I should tell you that we use about 55% of the electricity that a conventionally built building of the same size and shape would.
My.
Wow.
Pretty big reduction in the
That
lights
is.
and the water.
That is.
Well, I'm thinking LEDs, sensors that turn them on and off when people aren't around or when they're present. My.
Makes a big difference.
Especially when you're looking at those long-term,
Oh yeah.
if you're going to look ahead 10, 15, 20 years, it's incredible the difference that it makes.
Yeah, I have a heat storage unit at my house, and I use half the electricity.
So how does that work?
It's actually a box of rocks,
Okay.
and it heats the rocks with electricity during the cheapest time of the day.
Okay.
Electricity, middle of the night,
Right.
weekends.
Okay.
And then there's a series of fans. As the room gets cool, the fans turn on along with the rocks and shoot warm air around. So passive solar, and with that,
Yeah.
Is there a reason for all this? Is this bamboo or is it snake grass or?
Good question.
Okay.
That's one of our Arkansas native plants.
Okay.
oh, is it?
It
Okay.
is horsetail reed.
Horsetail reed, okay.
A wetland plant you'll find around here. And it's my favorite thing about that, just random trivia, it's got silica inside of it. And so apparently, the story goes that pioneers and even some modern day backpackers, if you find that, you can smash it up a little bit and use it as a scouring reed for your pots and pans, and to help clean up a little bit, because the mineral inside of it will give you that little bit of abrasion, kind of like cleaning with sand, I guess.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm going to guess it holds some water too, and probably therefore doesn't require a lot. I don't know, but it's everywhere.
It's really
That's why I
similar
was
to
curious.
bamboo, yeah.
Okay. And
It's
what's
pretty
these
similar.
grasses straight ahead of us? Those are very cool.
Yeah, those, I might have to look in the plant
That's
book
all
for
right.
that one.
Are things labeled out here so
They're
that?
not labeled out here,
Okay.
but we do have a binder that one of our volunteers She's a master gardener, and she worked for
okay.
a long time to put together little descriptions of all the plants that are out here. I want to say it's like red deergrass or something like that, but I think I'm tangling up part of it. These deco trees are not native, and the rose bushes in the center there are not native.
Makes
Pretty sure that
reasonable.
everything else out
Okay.
here
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
Very neat. Thank
Finally
you.
warmed up. Thank y'all.
Very cool bicycle. Okay. Oh, there's a zero grazing pen. And there's the tilapia. I'm going to guess this is it, but the light's not working. There's the house and vegetable garden. Composting and earthworm bins. Very cool. Multi-cropping. We're doing all kinds of crops that work together. And the beehives. Supposed to have a really good cafe here. But we're going to go up and have some good old Arkansas deep fat fried fat food. Mm-mm. What I love is even these third world countries refuse and ban GMOs. What a wonderful place. So true. I love this. This year, instead of buying one more fruit cake, consider giving a different kind of gift. This gift feels really good when you do this. Feels good to me. How you doing?
Good.
And what did you call that standard, building standard for a recyclable, renewable resource building over there?
LEED?
LEED?
Yeah.
Is this a
LEED.
LEED building also?
This one's not LEED.
Okay.
It is Green Globe certified.
Okay.
Which is another, environmentally
Fine,
friendly
fine.
ranking. We have 3 out of 4 Green Globes
Okay.
in this building.
Okay.
Part of the reason that I've heard is that you can't count the site cleanup twice.
I
So
see.
even though you have a whole lot of the same materials and methods in this one as the other, just the way the
Understand.
criteria shake out.
I understand.
It's
Better than
Yeah,
0 globes out of 4, huh?
Right.
The fact you
These
couldn't
guys might
have
all
two,
know more.
you can't have 2 buildings in the same camp.
I understand.
With
There's our globe certification right next to the door there.
Oh, the little plaque with the leaf on it?
Yeah.
It looks like a leaf from here.
I don't recall how we came in. This is Heifer headquarters. This is their village. You're good. So this is the village building. Clinton Library over here, and this is the headquarters building. So there you are. We just made a donation. Great place. Got some chickens and bees. And these are all the recycled bricks that they've used in this pathway. All from Dickinson Brick Company. Well, a lot of them at any rate. I called it a moat around this. They call it their wetlands.